Hope you're having a great Friday. I was listening to a few of the classics and ran into this song, which I love, 38 Special, Hold On Loosely. And for those of you who grew up in my era, 70s and 80s, fellow headbangers, that was a song that had a lot of meaning for us. It still does. And I know people really resonate with this song. And it's 38 Special, and the song is Hold On Loosely. And the lyrics go something to the tune of Hold on loosely, but don't let go. If you cling too tightly, you're going to lose control. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that today because I was speaking with one of my fellow coaches. She's part of one of the mastermind groups that I facilitate. And there's a lot of coaching that goes on in between the calls. And we were talking about this feeling where she feels she's been stuck. And she's an amazing person, a great coach. And I had been listening to sort of a pattern in what she's been doing where she's very, very committed to her how. Now, we always hear people in law of attraction, how they say, focus on the what and the why, and the how will take care of itself. And I happen to subscribe to that. Hey, Drew. Hey, Joe. I happen to subscribe to that. I have proven to myself that that really works. That doesn't mean that you're not taking action. That doesn't mean that you are not moving in the direction and being very proactive and moving in the direction of your dreams. Hey, Guille. I just mean that you really have to allow the flow to take care of the how. And one of the best examples that I could prove to her, when I was working on my pilot's license, I had done so many hours. Thank you, Joe. Hey, Sarah. I had done so many hours. I was ready to solo. And for some reason, every time, and we would go and practice, and my instructor, Dave, is an amazing instructor, we would do a lot of touch and goes, out in Tamiami Airport. And every now and then we do, hey, Sarah, these touch and goes. And one of the times, my landings, I was landing, it was great, but it wasn't as smooth as my landings were not as smooth as they could have been. So one day I noticed out of my peripheral vision that Dave, instead of looking at the runway, he's just staring at me as I'm landing the plane, which made me a little bit uneasy, but I knew I was not going to have an issue with landing, but it still made me uneasy that he wasn't looking forward. He was looking at me. So he just stares at me through the landing, and he says, okay, now go. We were just doing touch and goes. And he had me go around. I was just in the pattern. And he said to me, when you go land next time, and I should have brought my yoke from my simulator to give you a good example. But he says, when you land again, I want you to hold the yoke with these two fingers. And that's it. He said what happened was that I was going in and I wanted to control the landing and control that yoke so much that I was going in white-knuckled, controlling it, and it was actually affecting the smoothness of my landing. I was not allowing the flow of a smooth landing. So sure enough, went around, did my pattern. When I came back in for a landing, I was a nervous wreck, but I was holding the yoke like this. And it was the smoothest landing that I had ever done. And 2 days later, I was soloing. A week after that, I was doing my cross country. And what's funny is that by giving up that illusion of control that I had on the yoke, it actually allowed me to be a better pilot. So I presented that to her and I said, are you so committed? Hey, Mon, are you so committed to the how that you're not allowing any other ways of getting to where you want to get to flow and to come in? And she thought about that for a while. And this was, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we've reconnected. And I think she's now sort of in this flow. But I think it's a good example for me, and I've used that since then, because very often we think we know the very best way to do something. We know the best way to accomplish what it is that we want to accomplish, and we have so much control on that how that it's actually interfering with our ability to get to where we want to be. And listen, I know as a control freak myself that it is very uncomfortable to let go of that control, even to let it go and just loosen up on it. But I promise you that it is the only way that you're going to allow the flow of other ideas, of other possibilities to come into your space to maybe help you get to where you want to be even faster. in a more successful way, however you want to look at it. But I want to invite you to maybe try that today. And again, I'm not suggesting that it's going to be easy, but I'm asking you to try it. It might help you to sort of get unstuck. And in no way, shape, or form am I suggesting that you don't have to be obsessively obsessed with your dream. Hey, Ellie, your dream and what you want to accomplish, you need to be obsessed about that. I am obsessed about the things that I want to do. Many of you who know me or who don't know me and maybe have been at my workshops know my dreams have never been small, but it's okay because I know that if God planted that seed of a dream in my heart, I already have the ability to achieve them. So I'm not afraid. But very often we try to control and we try and for me at least, I try to have control of that how. And my job is not the how. I know that God is there to provide the ways. He's, bringing in the right people. Hey, Dave, bringing in the right people, bringing in the right circumstances, bringing in the right situations. But if I think I'm controlling everything and that I am the Almighty and that I know the way, howdy, I don't allow all of this to come in, all the things that he's sending my way. And since we're on the subject of planes, there's something on a plane called a trim tab. And I know the Carloses and the Marios out there are going to know what I'm talking about. But a trim tab basically is just a tab that helps you control the ease of the pitch of the plane, either up or down. And the reason that you do that, you adjust it depending on wind conditions and depending on many other factors, so that you don't have to fight so much with the yoke to let it fly smoothly. And Dr. Chambliss, my gynecologist and obstetrician of 20 some odd years, who passed away last year, and I miss him still, was also a pilot. And every time we'd go in there, it'd be 15 minutes of torture, and then the rest of the time we'd be talking shop. And he always used to tell me, you trim the tab to where the plane basically flies itself. And I love that example because the truth is that in life, we really just have to focus on where we want to go. We have to be committed to not being afraid of putting in the work. I am the laziest person that I know, but my alarm clock rings at 4:30 in the morning and I'm never in bed before midnight. That's why this looks like this. Hola, Carmencita. So I just invite you to allow the flow, allow other ideas to come in, allow other options to come in. Don't be so committed to control your how that you're actually impeding yourself. And I think for a lot of people who feel stuck, I talk to a lot of people who come to coaching because they feel stuck. I'm stuck. I have this quicksand thing going on and I know what I want to do and I know that I have the potential to do it. I'm not getting anywhere. And many times it's because they're not open to the alternatives. They're not open to other options. They think that they know exactly what it is that they want to do. So that's my invitation for you today. Dave, I know you're on. Happy Summitversary. Hey, Rosie, today is 3 years since we summited, and Dave was a fellow partner in Climb and a big part of why I was able to make it to the top. So happy Killiversary to all our fellow climbers, and happy birthday to Sophie. Today is Sophie's birthday, who's also on that climb. And just people, please, just allow the flow, allow things to come into your life. Trust me, the universe is conspiring to make things work in your favor. We get in the way of not allowing that to come in. But the truth is that once you have that dream planted in there, nothing can hold you back. Good info. Thanks, Dave. But I promise you that if you will just allow and be open, you'll start to see that things really are destined to work in your favor. And just allow it. And have a great weekend, all of you. Continue to pray for our friends and family of friends in Puerto Rico. Praying that the recovery is swift and that everyone is safe. And have a good weekend, all. Take care.